Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you this DIY bike rack I made that might be able to help you out. It holds 4 bikes, so stick around for a couple minutes. I'll show you some things I like and some things, well, I don't like. So this started off basically with the storage rack that came with my trailer. If you don't happen to have one, you can buy these. There are a few out there. Etrailer has one. This is actually a 3-place bike rack, but could easily be modified to 4 if you needed to, because this one's deeper than the one I have. Now, if you do have a rack on the back of your trailer, I would suggest looking at how it's mounted first, because I reinforced mine a little bit. It only had 3 small bolts in there, and I added another one and replaced the 3 with something a little bigger. But overall, it is mounted good because it's on the frame. It has that hook that goes around the I-beam, so it's actually pretty darn strong. It can hold a lot of weight. This is what it looked like before I modified it. So I took out the 3 small ones and then put in 1 extra, and these are a little bit bigger using just some different hardware. In order to mount the bikes, we're going to use some Toyota rail bed system. This is only like $35. I'll have links in the description. And then we're also going to use just some bike blocks as well. We're going to need 4 of these, obviously 1 for each bike. And these just slide inside the rail, so you can adjust them back and forth as needed. You can flip it around and kind of move the bike an inch one way or the other, and then slide it left to right or however it is you want to do it. But overall, this is actually pretty strong. I haven't had any issues with it yet. And in order to cut this stuff, you really just need a hacksaw or a sawzall. It's a soft metal, so it does cut really easy. Okay, and this is what it looks like as a finished product. And I'll mount the bikes on here in a minute or two just to kind of show you. But I did have to take the bikes and put them on and off a few times to get them in the correct position in order for all 4 of them to fit. And I'll show you a couple things I would have done differently as well. But there's the bikes, and they all have to go in a specific order and for them to fit on here. So you may have to do the same as well, but one wheel actually has to sit on the bumper because I don't have enough depth right here in order for all wheels to sit on the actual rack. So I put that little block there, and then the front sits there, and I'll show you how that looks in a minute. And then also some things I would have done differently, like making that rail right there. I would have had that rail come all the way to the edge, because then if I only mounted like 1 or maybe 2 bikes or even 3, I could actually get it to fit. Now, one thing I am going to change real quick is I have to slide this part back a little bit because it's actually starting to get pinched right here at the edge when I fold it up. So I'll move it back to about there. That way it doesn't get pinched by this when I fold it. And so that'll kind of fix that real quick. But again, I would make that one long piece all the way to the edge. And over there, I do have one other small problem. If you don't have a ladder, it's not an issue, but I'll show you. So now with this folded up, right here on this side, I've already moved the block. Or at least the mounting rack. And so, and if you go on this side, the actual bike block is like just kissing the ladder a little bit. So I may actually take that one off when I'm not hauling bikes, but that'd be the only one. And if you're worried about bikes getting stolen or anything, they actually make these bike blocks with the locking pin so you can't take them out. And that one's a little bit different because it fits my bike specifically. But I'm going to mount the bikes now so you guys can kind of see what this looks like, because it also gets pretty close together and I have it far enough away from the back of the trailer, but you'll see in a second. Now, one thing that's nice about this bike rack is I can throw the bikes on and off real quick, and the front wheels, they just go in the back of the truck. And if you take a look here, the handlebars are a little bit close to the back of the trailer, but I actually have plenty of room, and when I shake this, I'll show you. So now the last thing to do is secure the rear wheel, and then we can go ahead and get the other bike on here. So with this bike, I basically have to mount the rear wheel a little bit differently after I get it in the block, but I'm going to use one of these gear ties, and I'll put a link in the description for these. These are great for having on board your trailer because you can use them for so many different things. They're super strong, they stay in position as shown, and for the most part, you know, this bike doesn't really go anywhere with just using that. And even though these 2 bikes are really close together, you can see when I kind of shake it, it still doesn't touch or, you know, hit the other one. So we'll go ahead and get another bike mounted, and then I'll show you with this one, kind of the same thing, basically using a gear tie on the back wheel. And even though this one is super close on the cranks, you can see still doesn't touch, so that one's nice and good. Go ahead and mount up the last bike, and the same thing with the forks up front and another gear tie in the back. And now that's basically all 4 bikes. And even though these are super close to each other, as you can see right here, there's not a lot of room. They still don't hit. And I had to position each one just like this if I'm gonna take 4 bikes. If I only take 3 bikes, well, then I can actually kind of maneuver them around and put them in different positions. But with all 4, they have to go like this because of where the bars are, or the seat, you know, because those bars go underneath this seat here, and those bars are under that seat there, and the cranks are in a certain position. But I can move by flipping this block one way or flipping this block, I can move the bike an inch one way or the other by flipping the blocks around, basically. So if you need a little bit more, you can do that as well. And I can also move the bikes closer or farther away just a little bit from the trailer if I need to. But I'll shake this really hard and let you guys see. Alright, so what do you guys think? These things don't move too much. The purple bike moved the most, but the gear ties do a really good job. The bike blocks do a good job at holding the bikes. And I do have a rear camera on these at all times, so I can just kind of take a glance back there and look if I need to. But I've also thought about adding maybe a little bit of insulation, like on the forks right there, or maybe on that one wheel or up on the frame, just to kind of give it a little more protection. I don't know, what do you guys think? But for the most part, it's pretty stout. So anyway, I hope this idea might help you out on building a bike rack. And if you guys ever happen to see me on the road, give me a little beep, or feel free to stop by and say hi. Make sure to like and subscribe, and hope to see you guys next time.